What's up, y'all? I'm Danny G, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
What's up, dude? Congratulations with the new single, Reeboks. Talk to me a little bit about that creative process of this track and kind of figuring out why you wanted to write this particular song.
Yeah, man. So Reeboks, it kind of came about because I love Reeboks, like the shoes. I've been wearing them for a long time, and like I pretty much wear them every day, honestly. And I just love like the old school classic kind of vibe that they have. And so the whole song is about kind of comparing that shoe or like that shoe vibe, the vibe that the shoe has to like a girl that's kind of like an OG, cool, down to earth girl. And so I kind of thought that was a cool thing to like merge together. And so yeah, that's really the song. I love Reeboks, and then my girl is OG and classic like that, and so the fusion of those two kind of brought that song together.
What was the writing process for something like that? It's cool that you have that kind of wordplay between the two subjects.
Yeah, I wrote that one just by myself on like an acoustic first, and just did like a little voice memo of it, and then I brought it to this guy Phil. He's one of my good buddies. He's a producer in Nashville. And I brought it to him, and from there I kind of laid down that guitar part from what I had written, laid that down, and then we kind of built out the drums and the bass and everything like that. And then I just added, the rest of the second verse and the bridge and all that. But yeah, it came together really smooth. It was just one of those that I kind of wrote by myself one morning.
Now, do you usually find yourself going towards the guitar when you're writing new music, or or are there times when it's just you and the notepad?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends. So like a lot of times I will go to the guitar. That's kind of my main instrument, and I've played like forever. So I definitely feel comfortable when I'm looking for inspiration, just kind of getting a chord progression going. But at the same time, I always have my note. I actually carry around a little notepad, and I'm always writing like little song titles and little notes and stuff like that. And so things will stem out of that. I have the notes app in my phone that I'll have like little ideas that I'll write down sometimes. And then sometimes I'll even have like producers will send me tracks to kind of write over, and so I'll just kind of top line stuff. But yeah, it kind of just depends. It just depends on where the inspiration is coming from, and I kind of just work from there.
Now, you mentioned on your notes writing like titles of songs. Do you
Yeah.
usually work that way, where you think of a title and then you work around the body of that title?
Yeah, a lot of times I do because I think that's a cool way to do it. And I think it's like important to like note that like when you come up with something that's really cool, you got to like write it down in the moment because you'll forget it. And it's cool to like sit down and try to like manufacture a song from scratch and everything. But like
Mhm.
at the same time, like inspiration is just hitting at random times and you can't really control when it's going to happen. And so I definitely like writing down titles. Like I might even be like driving and I like see a street sign and I write it down and then I kind of come back to it and work from there. So yeah, I definitely do it that way a lot where I work from a title.
I love how easy it seems for you to go from singing to rapping throughout this entire
For sure.
track.
For sure, yeah.
Is that something that you've always done your entire life, or is that something that you felt you had to learn to be able to do? Because it seems super smooth when you're listening to the track.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, my whole life I've been a singer. Like the rap is newer to me, but I've always listened to hip hop music. And so
Mm.
I think that's helped with it a little bit. I grew up like doing like classical choir stuff and like I was in a jazz choir and stuff like that. So yeah, the rapping came in like maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, I think just from like that's always been the thing that I've listened to and what I've like gravitated towards. So I think just from like taking it in and consuming so much rap, I've kind of been able to make the transition a little smoother. And yeah, with rap, I really just like I try and like just kind of vibe with it and kind of like feel it out. I don't really try and like sing perfectly or structure it like you kind of just vibe on it. And so I think that's what makes it feel smoother because I think that's kind of what hip hop and rap is. It's just kind of a vibe and an energy. And so I try and just channel that into like when I'm flowing and just kind of make it smooth and flowy and stuff.
When it comes to the rap section of this track, do you feel like that was just a flow throughout whenever you were writing it down, or did it go through a lot of rewrites before you kind of finalize what we hear today?
That one was pretty just flowy. With a lot of my like rappier verses, they tend to come together super quick because of
Mm,
kind of what I was saying. It's just kind of spur of the moment, feeling it, flowing with it, and so that I
yeah.
kind of just I spit it out, and then I definitely like refined it a little bit, but Um, yeah, it didn't take too long to make that section of it.
Now, aside from the release of the song, you partnered up with Reebok to kind of promote the song. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and they sent me a super dope pair of Reeboks, really cool pair of shoes. So yeah, I really definitely want to work with them more in the future, and I think hopefully as things grow, we can continue to grow together. Because like I genuinely love Reeboks, and so like that'd be really cool to partner with somebody that like I actually am genuinely invested in, and hopefully they could be invested in me, and it could grow. But yeah, we did a little thing for the song, which was really cool.
Now, last year you got to collaborate with someone that a lot of us grew up listening to when we were younger, Travie McCoy.
Yeah.
And first of all, how did this collaboration happen for you, and how did you feel the two of you uh, were able to collaborate like in the studio? I don't know if you guys did it together in the studio or it was like separate,
Yeah.
but what was that collaboration process like?
So yeah, Travi was super awesome. It came about because my manager manages a rapper named Jonas, who's like super dope, super awesome. And so Jonas and Travi were kind of communicating. I think Travi reached out to Jonas about like just being a fan of him and his music. And so from there, I kind of like reached out to Jonas, and then like I kind of got connected with Travi through that whole thing. Um, and so I sent him like a pack of a bunch of songs, and he really liked that Long Live song that we did together. And it was just amazing. He was like super cool, super chill the whole time. He flew out to Nashville to not only hop in the studio with me, but he also, my first show at Exit In, he actually came and did that song with me, which was just like incredible because it was like my first thing ever. I didn't even know what I was doing. And I just had like Travie McCoy there. So it's wild. But yeah, he taught me a lot. He was just so humble and real. And like when he was recording his verse, he would like ask me how I feel about it and like if I like it. And I just thought that was cool because like he's a huge artist. He did not have to do that or even be that kind to me. But yeah, he just taught me a lot in the way that he carried himself, and he just yeah his energy is just so positive and uplifting. And so yeah, that was super dope. I think he killed his verse. I think the other thing is the song is all about youth and like being young,
Mm.
and I thought it was really cool that that's the song he chose to be on because he's kind of at that like peak of his career where he's done a bunch and he's older than me, and then I'm like
Mm.
just starting, and so I thought it was really powerful to have us like both come together and sing about like the same concept of youth and how it like doesn't matter what your age is, it's like just like that young energy.
Right,
So yeah, he was
right.
amazing.
Throughout
Yeah.
this collaboration, what do you feel was the biggest impact you got from him? Like whether it was like the way that you write, the way that you perform, or like the way that you think about the music.
I honestly think like the thing I was saying about him being humble is like
Mm.
the biggest thing I took from it, and that like it doesn't matter how big or small you are, like like when you're in a room with another artist or another writer, like you guys are creating the song together, and like there's no right answer on like how to make a verse or like perfect way to do anything. And so like just no matter how big or small you are, like just kind of always knowing that and always staying humble and real with people, I think it's the biggest thing I took away.
Yeah. Now, lastly, as far as Reeboks go, what do you feel
Yeah.
was the biggest challenge? I feel like this whole process was natural and easy for you, but what kind of
Yeah.
challenge did you find yourself facing throughout this recording or even the writing process?
Yeah. Let me think. Yeah, it was pretty smooth. I think I mean, just kind of a more like practical songwriting thing is like I always with like bridges of songs, I always kind of struggle to figure out a bridge.
Mm.
And so that is probably the part that took the longest to figure out. Just because like I'm big on like two rap verses, a hook, and that's kind of like the vibe. And so the bridge a lot of times will be more like manufactured and written. And so I think that probably took a little bit longer to write. Um, Other than that, it was honestly pretty smooth. There wasn't anything too difficult. Um, I think what I was trying to make sure I did is like keeping that metaphor of the shoes to the girl like in
Mm.
line and making it clear. And even with the music video that I did, trying to like make that story come across and like that plot of like me like so the video is like I was like it looked like I was in love with the girl, but I was actually in love with her shoes kind of thing. And so like trying to figure out how we can make that make sense, and just sticking with the story. So that was kind of a challenge. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was one of the smoother songs that I made. Came together pretty quick.